I feel lately, man, that I've taken so much more responsibility about my past relationships. Like, my perception has changed about relationships. And I think yours fucking has too. I wanted to talk about that. Like your perception, like the way I see you now look at Jessie and what you see as, and it can stem into anything, right? It can stem into like relationship, like I have mother children relationship, parent child. It's fucking changed massively for me, and I sort of wanted to talk about that because I feel like as we're going forward in this phase of life and where things are heading, relationships are fucking key, bro. Like, it's going to be so much more valuable than how we used to have it, because shit's breaking down and things are changing so fast. People are losing materialistic this, that, the other. But if you really look at it, man, losing all that, how much closer they become to relationship. Our relationship has grown. Your relationship with your wife has grown. Your relationship with your kids have grown. The way you see how you coach now. Fucking on what level have you changed now? In so many different relationships.
Very differently. Like last night, Jessie was crying. She had a hard day. Very
Should
hard day.
we make this a topic?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Have we spoken about? Have we made a topic about relationships?
No.
Or perception?
No, we haven't.
You haven't, huh?
No, because I really feel like I've really shifted. In the way I see relationships, man. Like a relationship, not just to a person, even to a thing. I used to fucking, oh my God, I used to like freak out about emotions, like my relationship to emotions. If my children are feeling some emotions and there's something, I used to fucking hate it. Like I used to be like, are you fucking crying? Like my relationship. My relationship to things and people and work. Like I used to struggle.
100%. I relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, so I feel like I really have now just at a different place with having, do you know what it is, man? My relationship to life has changed. My relationship to life. And that means people, circumstances, things, animals, children, the weather, fucking something coming up. I just
the way you relate to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Roman's very emotional at the moment too.
Yeah.
Very emotional. He's yelling back, and
come closer. Alright, so let's do the clap and let's do this, okay? Yeah. Let's do like, do you know what we can do, man? Our relationship to life. Like, and what?
Yeah, then that'll then break. Then
to everything, yeah, people and
relationship
fucking,
to ourselves.
Yes,
and then from ourselves to our partners. Or
exactly.
We've had,
exactly.
And then our kids, and we just
exactly. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Clap.
Yeah. Ooh, I forgot that part. So, do you want to start?
Yeah. Today's topic is actually going to be about our relationship to life itself. I feel it's been a huge shift in me in the last few years when I look back and I sort of recall on how I used to see life and how I used to be a reactive person, very reactive, and how now I respond more to life and what shows up for me and my journey and the tools. It's so funny, right? So when I first started meditation and silencing my mind, being still, and I really came from a place of like, I wanted to be a great meditator and I want to have those highs and I want to experience those visions and I want to have this and I want to tap into the DMT and all that, you know, all that stuff. And that was, and I think that's important because something has to sort of at the start lure you. Yeah. So that was cool and I was chasing that for a while.
Yeah. And
the more I got into it, the more it sort of diluted and that stayed for a while. But I realized at the end of the day, you know, whatever that tool is that I was sort of, you know, even open to it, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to do plant medicine to try and tap into that, and I want to do meditations and whatever it is, right? I really realized as my relationship to life itself started to become so much more connected and one. Fuck man, those things didn't excite me as much. So then I started to go back and look at all my relationships to life, and that means people, that means events, it means things. It's relationship to like my past relationship to me as a mum and my children, relationship to friendships, relationship to circumstances, whatever's happening. Fuck, I used to see it in such a different level, and now that I'm sort of here now, I think my relationship to life on a whole has changed so much, and it's become more about fuck, how am I showing up, and what's my responsibility?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not refusing life, it's more being one with life.
Yeah, I think so. I can relate to what you're saying. I was like same thing you said when I started meditating and everything. You still had the conditioning or attributes of trying to chase something.
Chase something.
And yeah, it was like, you do meditation and be like, oh, this one wasn't as good as the one yesterday. Why not? Do you know what I mean? And then really all that was, in the big picture, all that was just having the same mindset, not being deep enough yet, or changing the mindset yet, like doing a different practice, but with the same mindset.
And because it's under the spiritual banner, you think it's great.
Yeah. And you think it's different. Really, it's no different than me going and just having a shit day. I'm gonna go buy some shoes.
I'm gonna do better at work.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna make more money at work next week because this week was shit. Yeah, it's the same.
Just there's that feeling of not being content.
Yeah.
And satisfaction.
Yeah.
But as you persist and you keep doing these practices, then you start to understand more, I guess, and then you start to understand that life has to be whole, like has to be one. Everything has to be. You can't look at it so much individually all the time. Like, if I was gonna put energy into caring about one thing, it's gonna be about all the things next to it as well. And maybe you can't just accept the good feelings and then try to avoid the rest of life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, for a long time, a lot of us as humans, same thing. We want to avoid all of the things that we think aren't going to feel good and not give us that high.
Yeah.
But through doing the meditation and going through the spiritual, learning about myself and learning about awareness happens. You become more aware. I feel that my relationship to life, when I say life, I mean every single thing I do.
Yeah.
From the moment I wake up.
Yeah.
Simple things as waking up. For example, this morning, standing at the front of my house about 20 to 5 in the morning, letting the car warm up, looking up and seeing stars, for example, right? And then I actually looked up and said, where's the moon? And I could see the light over one of the other houses. I'm like, fuck, the moon's behind there today. I can't see it, you know what I mean? But having that awareness, when I've only been awake, my alarm went off 15 minutes before that, for example, But I was aware and more in tune to life, as life and the atmosphere and the environment and everything around me, I guess, And I think, having that relationship first with the surroundings then helps me understand myself, purpose of life, and it takes away a lot of those anxieties and stresses that I had before.
And I think purpose of life is a tricky one because people think that means that you've got to, again, find something, seek something, become something, do something. And I feel like, I have that. And there's times when it creeps in. But the more I sort of sit with those practices, and those practices aren't there so that you get good at the practices. They're there so you can get good with life, right? So I look back and I think, like it was so funny. I was thinking about this other day that, I was like, if we ever have plant medicine, and can you imagine the visions and all the the things that we'd see, and I was so like excited, and then I thought, fuck man, but have I ever really looked at a leaf? Have I even fucking held when's the last time I looked at a ladybird and just watched its tiny wings and that? I'm going, man, we actually got visuals all around us. But for some reason, we think that, okay, this is not the spot, this is not the it, this is not where it happens, it's always away from whatever it is, right? And so then even practicing that, right, just being able to say, hey, like, truth is, whatever is in front of us right now is truth, in the sense that not what we're perceiving, like not what we're thinking about it, but whatever I can, like right now, you're here, this is here, that's happening. That is really my true reality in this moment. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, if you look at when suffering or something happens, it's when you are refusing this moment and your thoughts are somewhere else.
It's like the post I shared this morning. Yeah, this morning.
Oh.
It said, it's funny that we see him connected there. Right? This post, the post I shared this morning on socials, was let me get to it now. I'm laughing because one of the boys commented on there, Hasten commented on there saying, "Is that Gandhi?" I said, "No, it's me." But what it said something about it said the past and future doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
It is just memory and imagination.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
That's the real part of it is
it's just,
memory, which is your memory is your past, what you're thinking
mind.
of, mind.
Both are mine.
And imagination is
still your mind.
What you're imagining is going to happen before it even happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your future. So.
And then when you look at that, right? When you look at that on a standing back and looking all of life, you can go, okay, I get it. The present moment's here. Present moment's now, and it's me, how I show up for that moment, and I get that. But then if you like bring it down and bring it out, life is also you, like you are a whole life, right? And so I'm like, okay, in any moment that I'm also resisting you and thinking what you could have been, what you should be, is I'm holding you now in past and future.
Yeah.
So I'm really not with the Zuz that is showing up. Think about relationships, right? Even romantic relationships, for sure, I've fucking done that. Like, my God, you were so much better then, right? And then you could be this.
It's always a comparison.
There's always that.
Yeah.
You were better then, you promised this.
Yeah.
And then you have the potential to be that. And that's what all I'm doing is focusing on the potential.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really not with what is in front of me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Then I look at my relationship with my kids. Think about when you're really fucking pissed at your kids. It's always because you think, right, of what they've done, right, or what you want them to be. So if your son's crying and you don't want him to cry, so it's still not, you're not here. You're like, but I want that.
Because it makes you, as a parent at the time, it's not sitting well with you.
It's uncomfortable for you.
But then you're not thinking about what your kid is doing, right? Like it's about your kid.
That's right.
But
it's anything. That's what I'm saying. Though, look how your ability to be one with life shows up in so many ways. It
100%.
shows up in your work. It shows up in your business.
Thousands
it shows
of
up
times a day.
Every time you have an opportunity to go, fuck, are you one with life? Are you one? Do you have? What is your relationship to life? Right? And you know what? The more you become one with your relationship to yourself, you start to fucking not see someone in the past and in the future, or you don't say my business was so good last year and this year it sucks, because you're looking at fucking what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
You're still not with your business now, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, isn't it funny? Because I feel like at the end of the day, it all comes down to relationship, right? And how you relate to reality. How do you relate to yourself, man? If you're having how easy is it for us to go, I can feel great today, or man, I went for a run, it was awesome, and say, 3 days from that, you really had a shit day, you felt low, there was no energy, and something came up, and it's really, and you're trying to fucking quickly do action so you avoid that even. So you're like already perceiving the fucking future of that. Like, let me not be with this, let me quickly do
something
stuff so I can
fucking
fucking change the reality.
Yeah.
Right? So it gives us so many opportunities, man, whether it's through people, whether it's through your children, whether it's through your spouse. Like, I've noticed your relationship with Jessie has changed so much in how you see her, because fuck bro, you're getting more and more into like life is just what is showing up with me. What it's not that, it's here. You know, I've noticed that with you, don't you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. And when people act human, people that especially I live with, my kids, my wife,
They have
they
to.
act human, they got emotions.
Bro, they have
right?
to.
Instead of me being a reactive person to it because it's not sitting well with
And you
how
used
I
to.
feel at the
I
time.
used to too.
I used
Yeah.
to do that too. I do
Yeah.
it. And I still now, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say we're perfect. Fuck, it happens all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
But
me too.
I'm more in touch with life, and my relationship with life itself is a lot closer, which then keeps me in check more, yeah? So I do pull up and I have the awareness and the ability to pull myself up and go, hang on, this person's expressing themselves,
Yeah, man.
right? They're not expressing themselves for you to be offended by them. So I don't have to put up this thing to protect
Yeah,
my
exactly.
feelings or
Yeah,
protect how all I've got to do at times is accept it. And when I do accept and listen and be in the moment, that's easy. The solution is there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
so true. Because you're not trying to. You go, oh fucking, I'm not protecting
I'm not-
myself. I'm not going to try and attack
100%.
you.
I'm not
and
sitting there going, fuck,
it's
I felt
me.
better.
You're doing it to me. Yeah, it's
I'm
like
not gonna, because I know, like, you know, a reactive person would be like, fuck, I felt better before I walked in the door.
exactly, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then you want to escape again.
Exactly.
But instead I'm like, no, especially now. For example, yesterday, Jesse had an overwhelming day with the kids because Roman's being a little shit. 4 years old and he's acting like he's fucking 16 at the moment.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah, I witnessed that for myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But so I come home and Jesse's upset, right? I'm at work, she's messaging me, and the less connected to life, Joey would have been like,
Fuck off.
fuck,
Yeah,
what am I
fuck off.
walking
Yeah.
to? But no, I was more like, my wife needs me.
Yeah.
She's reaching out. She needs help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get home, calm, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, instead of, well, you know, my son's in a mood, so what am I going to be in a mood as well? It's not going to work, right? So I'm going to speak to him properly.
Yeah.
Made him pause the TV.
Yeah.
You know, Jesse's upset. Usually for me, I don't show much compassion, so I'm like, okay, whether you feel that there's something that sits well with you or not, it's not about you right now. It's about what's going on. Your wife's having a moment. She's sad. Comfort. You know what I mean? I'm more open to doing that now.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So comfort her first. Then I'll speak to my son. Instead of yelling at him and threatening him, I'm gonna do this. Oh, do you want to get this? Do you want? No, it's more questions. I was asking him questions, and 15 minutes, 20 minutes goes by, and I've slowly taken his attention away from the TV, and now he's having a conversation, he's answering questions, and I'm asking him, like, sir, why does he act like this? Is it something? Is he following something he's seen at Kinder, or like I'm trying to find a reason?
Yeah.
And just to get him to talk.
Yeah, good.
And I found, you know what, he was very standoffish. I'm not going to bed, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that.
There's no way that was Roman.
To the point where, it was Roman, and I would usually be reactive. So then you've got two reactive people, right? So what, I'm bringing my levels down to a 4-year-old
Well,
child.
you're teaching him this is how you behave when
100%.
shit's not right.
So then he ended up going to bed. He went, did his wee-wee before bed, went to bed. He was out snoring in 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean? This morning, he was a lot better, right? But I think because of my relationship to life itself,
that's right.
then my relationship to myself, I've been able to change the things around me and how I live amongst all of these other elements that you can't control.
And
you know what I mean?
100%. That's my thing. Like even it was so funny because Aaliyah's gonna kill me if I tell you. But so I was away on holidays and Aaliyah had the dogs and stuff, and she thought that the dogs ate a sultana, and apparently dogs can't eat sultana. So she freaked out. Shoot. And she was really upset, and she said, "Oh, Mum, I was freaking out." And
what
she went to the vet. You got to go to the vet and get her to vomit up. Yes, apparently. Anyway, so she was, in that zone, and she goes, "I had a bit of a cry, and I was upset." And before that would trigger me, man. It would be like, "Fucking crying! Like, what are you crying for? Like, what? And And I used to always be a person, I guess, because I look back at my history of go back in memory and go, oh, you know, crying is weakness, blah, 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 and it's got this story attached to it. So when crying comes, I was very like standoffish. I was like, no. And I used to automatically think that if my kids cry or felt that sadness or felt any pain, automatically it's a bad thing. Like I was almost trying to prevent them from feeling fucking feeling.
Yeah,
like, it
but
was
that's
weird,
because
right?
of the way you felt about it. Not necessarily
No, because I never actually
felt.
thought, fuck, you know, if I really sat with it, I was like, well, first of all, I'm triggered. I don't know about them, but I'm triggered. Secondly, who decided pain is bad? Like, why have we been taught pain is so bad that we've got to avoid it, right? And then I learned that my relationship to pain had to change. In order for me to be present with my daughter when she's going through something, guess what? The relationship I had to pain had to change.
100%.
Right? Because what I had when I was 5, 6, different. But mate, it didn't have to now every time I have pain I have to right? It had to change. And so then I looked at it, I thought, and I had to then question, like, everything is a relationship. Like, we think that we're alone and that we're individuals and we're doing life alone. We're not, man. I have a relationship to this home. The way
100%.
I have a relationship to this home is how I treat it, how I feel in it, how I look after and nurture it, right? How the kids have a relationship to their home is how they will show up. How the kids have a relationship to what they do. It's all about the relationship you have to the other thing, right? And that relationship makes you one anyway. You think when you hate someone, you're so different to them. The hate is what connects you. Right? The emotion of what you think is what makes you one.
There's an emotional connection.
Bro, hot and cold is temperature.
House,
exactly, right? So you can't avoid relationships. And that's what it's taught me. Life is all about fucking relationships. Relationships doesn't always mean human to human. It just means you to life. Yes, right? Yeah. And that's why it's so important to notice, like, go underneath and see, hey, what is my relationship to this thing? Why am I getting triggered? What about this is showing me I'm not relating to reality as it is. And when you see, it's always going to come from you, because life is perfect. The universe is too amazing. I can't even say what word it is for it to not be fucking perfect. That's it. Right?
And life is life. It's not going to change.
Life is life.
It's not going to change.
Life is life. And you've got to
life.
understand, one person is a complete life. Is complete and
itself,
whole, right?
100%.
So if I now am triggered by you, it's something to do with me, because that is already whole. That is how it's meant to be. Right? What about that, whether it's a person or whether it's a circumstance, what about that relationship am I not comfortable with?
It's how many times have we heard and been through it ourselves? You've tried to change something or someone without even thinking about changing yourself, and it never ever works. Right?
Yes.
You can't change something or someone.
Yes.
That was a perfect thing you just said. That person is already whole.
It's whole.
It's whole. You need to change within how you know, in order to react differently. If you're getting triggered, you got to go and take some time, be silent with yourself, and work out why you're getting triggered by it.
Because really, like, when I looked at Aaliyah and she was sad, but in the past, I would have bloody screamed. Like, what are you talking about? You're crying over this, blah, blah, blah. I would have gone off. But my relationship to emotions has changed. So guess what that does? When I see my daughters now express emotions, I don't get triggered, because my relationship to emotions has changed. So look, on the outside, it's also mirrored. They're allowed to have a nicer experience of emotions and feelings, because no one is now trying to say this is wrong, this is right.
You're right.
Right? Even if I look back at my past relationships, I fucking see completely my relationship to that whole person was my doing, bro. It was. Did I show up for that relationship, as in, yes, I see you in this moment how it is, and I'm only going to be involved with this. No, man. Do you know how many part of my relationship I was always in the past and the present, future? Very rarely was I ever present. And fuck, then when you start to see that, you do take responsibility. It's an amazing feeling. Nothing's a failure when you understand that. Because I look at that, even if it's a friendship, even if it's a thing that comes up in life, you go, wow, how many times did I miss the opportunity to actually be with life itself? And life is very simple, my friend. It's always saying, just deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Just deal with what's in front of you. Don't worry about what she was like yesterday. Don't worry about what your potential of him is. What is it right now?
Yeah.
It's all life needs you to do, is to literally deal with what's in front of you. You know, and I feel like that's what's been the greatest thing in understanding relationship is if I practice daily to be with what's in front of me, have a great relationship with my reality, it spreads into people and animals and things and events and my work and my practice, my whatever. It spreads into everything.
Yeah.
It starts from life, this moment. Think about how magical this moment is. This moment will never be repeated, right? Never been done before, never will be done.
Yeah.
No one else will see it from this perception. You will never, no one is sitting there to look at me through that way, right?
100%.
Ever again, ever can be.
Yeah.
And we think that it's not.
Oh,
Fucking God.
We think, exactly. We think it's still not enough. We think, oh no, we're still suffering.
Yeah.
We're still suffering.
Think about the magic that's happening. We just can't get it.
So how can, what are these practices that people can do? If they do feel like they want to build their relationship with life and be more aware to these things. Like for me, it started with breath work and meditation, which then led me for when I go on my walks to touch a tree.
Can I just quickly interrupt you? Sorry, Zuzu.
Yeah.
Like, we facilitate breathwork journeys now. We do our spinal, we do all that stuff, and we love it. You know what I was thinking about too, though? Like, people do it and they think it's the one-off thing, but there's a stage of that, right? You do it. It's like meditation. You do it, but then you got to integrate it, my friend.
100%.
You got to then go, okay, this. How do I then integrate that into my life? And that could be you with 5 kids. That could be you as a single parent. That could be you as a whatever, bro. But it doesn't stop with your breath work, and it doesn't stop with your meditation. You know what? Then the integration happens is, how do I now, with whatever came through, how do I make that a part of my life? Because your life is reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you got to start small. Do things like, if, say, you wanted to go out somewhere and the weather changed, instead of fucking reacting to that,
100%.
You know, start to say, okay, this is not a mistake. This is life. Life is happening. Why am I? Then ask the question, right? What about this is triggering me? Why am I not comfortable with the weather being the way it is?
I started with that instead of checking
traffic.
the weather. No, instead of checking the weather to see if I was going to have a
Good day. Yeah.
It was
Look
like,
at that. I am. You've decided.
It was like, all right, if I'm going to ride the Harley, I just want to just check, is it going to be wet?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather not ride in the wet. I know it's going to rain,
that's
it's
different.
It's different. But then it'd be like, and then Jesse, not necessarily now, but Jesse, then you become more aware of, how you were, because you see it reflecting on other people. So Jesse would be like, oh, what's the weather this weekend? Man, it's Monday.
Look at that.
It's Tuesday. We're
Look
already
at
thinking
that.
about the weather. And I used to say, it doesn't matter. Then once I became aware of it and accepted life, and I said, who cares what it is?
Who
we do
cares?
what we
The
do.
weather is meant to be the weather.
Next thing you know, kids got gumboots on, it's raining, we've driven
Wow.
to the biggest puddles we've found, and they're going nuts in the rain.
Exactly.
So we started to accept life that way.
Yes, so those are the things you start with. Like 100%. It's like, bro, just look. So for me, it was more people around me having emotions with my kids, because I used to struggle massively with that, and then and not fixing it. That was another. I was a fixer. Like, I'll fucking fix this. You cry, okay? You want to cry, but I'll fix it. What do you want? What do you need? I'll tell you this. I'll give you the fucking tools. And da 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 da.
Okay.
I also learned to just stand back and
just let them be.
Let it be.
Let it be. Let the process do its thing.
Let the process.
That's what I'm
and
doing
guess
now.
what? Guess where that came from? Because I learned to sit in discomfort for a while.
Okay.
So, because think about it, like, I had relationships where I had to go through a stage where there was a breakup. Bro, you can't always do, right? I really learned with the last one, which was amazing, which was to just sit in discomfort
Try to
and not do anything.
Yeah.
Just be with it. And every time something discomfort comes up and you sort of sit in it a little bit longer, right, you are actually cultivating that ability to
Like a resilience to
resilient. Yeah, be
Yeah.
resilient, hold it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that also helped me in giving you space to process yourself without me having to fix you.
100%.
Because you're fucking already whole. I don't need to fix you. Maybe what you needed is for you to process the emotion, and the fixer comes along and goes, no, let's go for a walk. No, you don't fucking need to go for a walk. You need to feel through the feeling.
Yeah.
Right? You can go for a walk later.
Yeah.
If that's what you're called to.
This process is done.
But I was also the fixer. First of all, I didn't want to get you to think it, like I didn't want you to
100%.
feel it. Then
Yeah.
that stage came past. I was like, no, you can feel it. But then there was the fixer in me, like, oh fuck, okay, I'll give you 20 minutes and then I've got to fix it. Because it's uncomfortable for me to see you uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly
Right?
Yeah.
And then I started to be okay with my discomfort and sitting in it. Then I thought, fuck, it's not that bad. You can sit in it. So see how change never happens because I wanted you to change. It's the fucking work I've done on myself.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm going to sit in that discomfort. And the more I got to see that, oh shit, bro, it's not too bad. It actually gets you to understand that feelings are not good or bad. They're just feelings.
They're just expressions. They're language.
Yeah, and they know what to do, which is they get processed and released if you stay the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a big one for me too, is to just allow your kids to go through stuff, but first allowing myself to go through stuff without fixing, doing, band-aiding.
It's letting go of control, isn't it? So it's letting go of control, trusting the process of life that is so big that, you know,
Bro, exactly.
we can never completely control it anyway, so
Yeah.
don't even bother wasting energy on that.
Yeah.
Let life do its thing, and what a lot of people will find is their stresses, their anxieties that surround every decision they make won't be there as much anymore.
Exactly. So I feel that, I feel weather, I feel emotions and feelings that just allow, just sit. Don't try and jog it off or fucking run it off or dance it off or fucking whatever. Just sit with it. And I feel the other one is a good one is traffic. Like when you're driving or if you're late, that's when you test it, brother. When you're late.
100%. Mate, I used to be like that, and then like you get in the car and you're checking the time, you're going nuts.
And 1 minute, bro. So you're gonna only get there 1 minute.
I don't even give a shit anymore.
Now,
And you know what? If you're going somewhere and all of a sudden they're like, oh sorry, you missed your appointment, sweet, I'll go have a coffee or something.
Yeah.
I've got more time to myself.
So definitely those are good ways to start.
Yeah, because they're elements that will hit us every day.
Every day.
Can I just add one more thing? It might sound a bit tree hugging, but man, honestly for me, is whenever I was going for a walk around Harold Shine, whatever the weather was, I made sure I touched a tree or a leaf, even just a leaf and played with the leaf, and just took time to appreciate basically what is been there for is more significant than us and been there for way longer than us, forever.
The intelligence, mate.
The intelligence that gives us the opportunity to breathe and be alive, right? So just doing little things like that, I found calmed my mind down a lot, and just helped me build more of a relationship with life and acceptance of what's around us. Do you know what I mean?
The connectedness.
100%.
We're all connected, man.
100%. But I think if people do that, and I relate to, we call it practice and everything, because the best way I said it was when I started doing all this, people would ask me, and my wife especially was like, "Are you gonna do this forever?" I said, "Well, I plan on exercising forever and being fit, and that's part of my life." Like for me, I know not everyone exercises, that's fine, but for me, exercise has been something since I was a kid, and being in a gym environment.
And exercise is movement. We're meant to fucking move.
100%.
Our body, like I struggle now because I haven't been exercising. Now I'm back, but my body's like, no, you need to move, bro. And it could be dance. I don't care what it is. It's movement,
it could be walking for 40 minutes.
Like it's like saying, do you plan to drink water every? Like, yeah, bro. 100%. I have to fucking live.
And that's the same category I put all that in. It's essential to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
In my mind, I understand the power of it now. I feel a million times better. I'm a happier person.
Well,
I've got
don't I
more
clean my
joy.
house every day?
That's what I mean. So why would I
Yeah.
let go of something that is so
I feel you're so right.
fucking
So
positive
right.
for,
Like,
for me? Do you know what I mean?
so right. I get so many people like breath work and the journey, and then all of us. I'm like, dude, it's like someone coming in, cleaning your house with you, and then you're like, oh, job's done forever. No, you gotta now integrate it, like we say, live it every day. You gotta clean every day. You got and it's really, you know what? I think everything comes down to the seed of like self-love and, like I say, relationship with life. It's like when you know you're in relationship with life, right? Those things, the tools that we say, they come easier to do because it becomes natural. Like you don't think about brushing your teeth. You don't think about drinking water. You don't think about a lot of stuff, man, because it's relationship to life. You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
All right, guys. So actually sit down, take a like sort of awareness to where you are not having a great relationship with certain aspects of life. You know, all of life is life. So take a notice, like where are you? It could be even health. It could be a lot of things. For me at the moment it's health. I don't have a great relationship with health at the moment, but it's something that I've like, okay, now I'm going to put my attention and awareness on it, you know?
Yeah.
So take note, where am I not having a great relationship with that thing, and start to question yourself why, and go deeper and see like what is it that you have to sort of work with and grow with, and then you will see that sort of spilling onto other areas of your life automatically, and it just expands you even more, and so that you're not living in this little bubble, but you're sort of like more expanded and sort of learning to be in joy with life.
100%.
You know?
So that's our episode on relationships with life, yourself, and the people around you. We're uploading on Instagram now. I've started the Instagram finally, so we're uploading videos. I'm very tech savvy. Bill Gates, get your heart out.
Back in 1974, we promised.
It's easier when you meditate, guys. I could just communicate it to you quicker. But so yeah, look, we're gonna upload stuff on there. So yeah, share everything, like it, ask questions, be curious, and enjoy life. Really enjoy it.
Yep.
Cool.